If your salary disappeared tomorrow, how many days would your life survive? Not your dreams, not your confidence, your actual life. Rent, food, gas, phone, debt, insurance, the 12 little subscriptions you forgot you had. How long before the whole thing starts coughing smoke like a cheap lawnmower? For most people, the answer is not months. It is not even weeks. It is, until the next paycheck is late, and that is the lie nobody wants to say out loud. A salary is not automatically freedom. Sometimes a salary is just a leash with better branding. Welcome back to Money Truths, the channel where we gently take your financial excuses, throw them into a dumpster, and set the dumpster on fire. Today we are talking about the salary trap. The quiet system that keeps millions of normal, hardworking people broke even while they earn more money than their parents ever did. And no, this is not going to be one of those videos where a guy in a rented sports car tells you to stop buying coffee. If coffee is the reason your financial life is collapsing, coffee is not the problem. Your financial life was already made of wet cardboard. The real problem is bigger, sneakier, and way more annoying. Most people believe they are broke because they do not make enough money. Sometimes that is true. Low wages are real. Expensive cities are real. Medical bills, rent, inflation, all real. But there is another ugly truth sitting right next to it. A lot of people do start making more money and somehow stay broke. They get the raise, they get the better job, they get the bonus. For 2 weeks, life feels amazing. Then the money disappears into the same black hole, just with nicer furniture around it. That black hole has a name: lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation is when your spending grows to match your income, like a parasite that adjusts to the size of its host. You make $30,000, you are stressed. You make $50,000, you are still stressed, but now you have a car payment. You make $80,000, you are still stressed, but now your bills wear nicer clothes. Here is the simple version. If every raise becomes a new monthly payment, you did not become richer. You became a more expensive employee. And companies love this. Banks love this. Advertisers love this. The entire consumer economy is built around one beautiful little question. How do we capture their raise before they save it? That is why the moment people get more money, the world starts whispering, "You deserve a better car. You deserve a bigger place. You deserve the premium plan. You deserve the trip. You deserve the nicer phone. You deserve convenience. You deserve a little treat." You wake up 3 years later with a higher income, higher expenses, and the same empty emergency fund. When you get a raise, a bonus, a tax refund, or any extra income, the first question should not be, "What can I buy now?" The first question should be, how much of this money disappears before I even see it? Because if you wait until the end of the month to save, congratulations, you have built a financial system based on leftovers. And leftovers are what your future gets after your impulses eat first. The rich do not save what is left after spending. They spend what is left after saving and investing. Yes, that sentence sounds like it belongs on a wooden sign in a dentist office, but unfortunately, it is true. If you want your money to stop vanishing, you need to create friction in front of spending and automation in front of saving. Translation: make the good behavior automatic and make the dumb behavior mildly annoying. Here is the escape system. Every time your income goes up, tax your raise before your lifestyle touches it. If you get an extra $500 a month, do not let the whole $500 walk into your checking account wearing sunglasses. Send at least half of it automatically to savings, debt payoff, or investments before you can mentally convert it into a weekend trip and a new air fryer. Call it the raise tax, not government tax. You tax yourself for your own future. You can still enjoy some of the raise. That is important. If your plan feels like prison, you will escape it at midnight with a credit card. But at least 50% of any increase should go toward making you freer, not just shinier. Now let us talk about the second money leak: payments. Modern poverty does not always look like having no stuff. Sometimes it looks like having lots of stuff you do not fully own. A phone payment, a car payment, a furniture payment, a buy now pay later payment, a credit card minimum, a personal loan, a payment for the vacation that ended before your sunburn did. One payment feels manageable. 5 payments become a financial mosquito swarm. This is how people with decent incomes become broke on schedule. They do not spend all their money in one dramatic movie scene. They bleed $39 here, $87 there, $219 somewhere else, until their paycheck arrives already wounded. Not all debt is evil. Strategic debt exists. But consumer debt is usually not strategy. It is impatience with an interest rate. If the thing goes down in value, produces no income, and mainly makes you feel upgraded, be careful. That is not a tool. That is a costume. The third money leak is convenience. Convenience is the luxury drug of the middle class. Food delivery, rideshare, same-day shipping, premium everything. Apps that remove 3 minutes of effort in exchange for $12 and a tip screen that emotionally mugs you. Again, convenience is not evil. If you are exhausted, busy, disabled, caring for kids, working 2 jobs, convenience can be survival. But for many people, convenience becomes a default setting instead of a deliberate choice, and default convenience is expensive because you stop noticing it. Nobody looks at one delivery order and says, "Ah yes, this is how I destroy my net worth." But 20 delivery orders a month? That is not dinner. That is a car payment wearing sauce. The fix is not to become a monk who cooks lentils under a single light bulb. The fix is to choose your convenience budget on purpose. Keep what actually improves your life. Cut what only happens because the app is sitting there like a raccoon with a checkout button. Fourth leak, identity spending. This one is the nastiest because it feels personal. Identity spending is when you buy things to prove a story about yourself. I am successful, so I need this car. I am stylish, so I need these clothes. I am a good parent, so I need the expensive version. I am not poor anymore, so I refuse to look like I am saving money. This is how people become financially trapped by an imaginary audience. Nobody is thinking about you as much as you think they are, but status pressure is powerful. It turns money into theater. And the theater never ends. There is always a nicer neighborhood, a newer car, a better watch, a more impressive vacation, a more photogenic restaurant, a more expensive version of normal life. If your spending is designed to impress people who would not help you in an emergency, you are not buying status. You are renting applause from strangers. Here is the broke-rich test. Ask yourself, if nobody could see this purchase, would I still want it? No Instagram, no coworkers, no family judgment, no awkward reunion flex, just you and the thing. If the answer is no, you are probably not buying the thing. You are buying a costume. Fifth leak, waiting. This one does not show up on your bank statement, which is why it is so dangerous. Waiting sounds responsible. I will start investing when I make more. I will build an emergency fund after this expensive month. I will pay off debt when things calm down. I will learn money stuff later. I will get serious next year. Next year is where financial dreams go to get quietly buried. The problem with waiting is that it charges interest too, not on a credit card, on your life. Every month you delay building a cash cushion, one surprise bill can become a crisis. Every year you delay investing or learning, the same expensive mistakes keep returning in different outfits. People think wealth is built by one huge heroic decision. Usually it is built by boring decisions repeated until they become invisible. Automatic transfer, emergency fund, debt plan, index fund, spending review. Repeat. It is not sexy. Nobody is slow motion walking away from an explosion after increasing a 401k contribution by 2%. But boring is where the money is. The financial system that wins is usually not the most intense system. It is the system you can do when you are tired, annoyed, busy, and slightly stupid. So let us build that system. Step 1. Create a 1-month emergency wall. Not a perfect 6-month fund. Not a giant spreadsheet cathedral. 1 month. Add up the basics: housing, food, utilities, insurance, minimum debt payments, transport. That number is your first wall. Your first job is to put 1 month of basic expenses between you and chaos, because without a cash cushion, every surprise becomes debt. Car repair, debt. Medical bill, debt. Late paycheck, debt. Emergency flight, debt. You cannot invest your way out of constant panic if your checking account is one flat tire away from a crime scene. Step 2. Kill high-interest debt with disrespect. High interest debt is not just a bill, it is a hole in the boat. You can row harder, but the boat is still filling with water. List the debts, interest rates, minimum payments, balances. Then choose a method. The avalanche method attacks the highest interest rate first, mathematically best. The snowball method attacks the smallest balance first. Psychologically satisfying, people online fight about which one is better because apparently humans can turn anything into a religious war. Use the one you will actually follow. The best debt plan is not the one that wins a spreadsheet argument. It is the one that survives your real life. Step 3. Automate wealth before comfort expands. The second money arrives, give it a job. A percentage to emergency savings, a percentage to debt, a percentage to investing, a percentage to guilt-free fun. Yes, guilt-free fun. If you do not include fun, your budget becomes a strict parent and your credit card becomes the cool uncle with fireworks. A good system lets you enjoy today without mugging tomorrow. Step 4. Review the leaks once a month, not every day. Once a month is enough for most people. Look at subscriptions, look at delivery, look at impulse buys, look at recurring payments, look at anything that made you say, "Wait, I spent how much?" Do not review with shame. Shame is useless. Shame makes people avoid the bank app like it contains a ghost. Review like a mechanic. The machine is leaking. Find the leak. Patch the leak. Move on. Step 5. Decide what rich actually means to you. This matters because if you do not define enough, the market defines it for you, and the market's definition of enough is always more. More house, more car, more upgrades, more payments, more ways to look like you are winning while privately refreshing your bank balance with spiritual terror. Real wealth is not looking expensive. Real wealth is options. The option to leave a bad job. The option to survive an emergency. The option to say no. The option to help family without destroying yourself. The option to sleep without doing mental math about overdraft fees. That is the part people miss. Money is not just for buying things. Money is for buying distance from desperation, and if every dollar is already promised to a landlord, a lender, an app, a status symbol, and your past decisions, then you are not free. You are just moving money through your hands on behalf of other people. The good news is you do not need to become a finance genius to change this. You need a few boring rules that are stronger than your moods. Rule 1. Every raise gets taxed by your future first. Rule 2. No new monthly payment without killing an old one or proving it creates value. Rule 3. Convenience must have a budget, not an open bar. Rule 4. If you would not buy it privately, do not buy it for applause. Rule 5. Start with 1 month of breathing room, then build from there. Will this make you rich overnight? No. Anyone promising overnight wealth is usually selling you a course, a coin, or a legally questionable PDF filmed in front of a rented bookshelf. But these rules will do something more important. They will stop your money from escaping, because earning more is powerful, but only if the extra money stays on your side. A bigger paycheck without a system is just a bigger bucket with the same holes. Patch the holes first, then pour, and the next time you get a raise, do not ask, "What can I afford now?" Ask, "What part of my freedom can I buy back?" That question changes everything, because the goal is not to look rich for people who are barely paying attention. The goal is to become harder to control, harder to panic, harder to exploit, harder to push around with one missed paycheck. That is real money, not luxury, not flexing, not pretending your financed car is a personality. Freedom. Quiet, boring, beautiful freedom. Boring is how it gets out.